On Valentine's night, he gave her the gift she would never forget. He thought it was just a Valentine's gift. A small moment. A symbol of love. A decision that felt right in the moment. But what he didn't know was that the same gift would quietly erase his financial future. The box was small. Black velvet. Clean edges. Heavy for its size. He held it for a moment longer than necessary before stepping into the restaurant. The lights were low. The room carried that quiet February warmth, couples leaning closer than usual, waiters moving softer than usual, music just slightly louder than silence. It was supposed to be a beginning. He didn't know it was also the start of an ending. Not the end of the relationship. The end of something less visible. His margin. His flexibility. His financial future. And he would not realize it for years. We rarely ask the real question when it comes to money and love. Not, can I afford this? But something quieter. What does this decision commit me to? Because the most expensive purchases in life are rarely about the item itself. They are about the future it silently demands. And sometimes, the most dangerous financial decision isn't reckless. It's romantic. He wasn't irresponsible. He had a stable job. A modest savings account. No major debts. He was, by most standards, doing fine. Not wealthy. Not struggling. Balanced. But balance feels fragile when you believe you're being measured. She never asked for the ring. Not directly. But social media did. Her friends did. The algorithm did. Photos of proposals under soft lighting. Close-ups of diamonds resting against manicured hands. Comments filled with hearts and applause. Love displayed as proof. Proof. Measured in carats. And somewhere along the way, he began to believe that love had a price point. The ring he chose cost more than he planned. But planning felt small in that moment. He didn't want reasonable. He wanted unforgettable. The jeweler spoke in gentle assurances, payment plans, flexible terms. Most of our clients finance. A monthly number that seemed manageable when spoken softly. It didn't feel like debt. It felt like access. Access to the version of himself he wanted to be. Decisive. Generous. Impressive. He signed. Not because he had the money, but because he believed he would. Consumer credit wasn't designed to feel dangerous. It was designed to feel invisible. Small monthly payments stretch large numbers into something digestible. The mind anchors to what leaves the account today, not what accumulates quietly in the background. Interest doesn't scream. It whispers. And compound interest is patient. It waits. The ring cost more than its price tag. Because the true cost wasn't just the principal, it was the time he would spend paying for it. The missed investments. The delayed savings. The reduced options. When you finance a symbol, you mortgage a piece of your future to pay for a moment in the present. But in that restaurant, none of this was visible. There was only her reaction. Tears. Hands over her mouth. The word yes. Applause from strangers. A photograph. The moment worked. There is a quiet system behind moments like this. An economy built on signaling. We don't just buy objects. We buy perception. Security. Validation. Industries understand this deeply. The diamond market, for example, didn't always symbolize eternal love. That meaning was carefully constructed. Repeated. Reinforced. Embedded into culture until it felt natural. When something feels traditional, we stop questioning it. When something feels romantic, we stop calculating it. And so ordinary people, with ordinary incomes, stretch themselves into extraordinary commitments for milestones that last minutes. The wedding followed. Bigger than necessary. Slightly beyond budget. Justified by the phrase everyone uses. It's only once. Except it rarely is. Because once you establish a standard, you are expected to maintain it. The ring became the baseline. The wedding set the tone. The lifestyle quietly adjusted upward to match the image they had created. At first, nothing seemed wrong. They were happy. Payments were made. Life moved forward. But margin matters. Margin is the quiet space between what you earn and what you owe. It is what allows you to change jobs, to take risks, to survive setbacks. He had once had margin. After the ring. After the wedding. After the honeymoon placed on another card for points. The margin narrowed. Then work shifted. Not dramatically. Just enough. A missed bonus. A slower quarter. An unexpected medical bill. The numbers began pressing closer together. And when margin disappears, stress arrives. Not loudly, but constantly. Financial pressure rarely announces itself as a single crisis, it accumulates as background tension. He began working longer hours. Not for ambition. For coverage. She noticed the distance. Arguments started small. Spending became sensitive. Every purchase now carried weight. Because when debt exists, money stops being neutral. It becomes emotional. And emotion distorts judgment. He started making decisions to fix short-term discomfort. A balance transfer. A personal loan to consolidate. Temporary relief. Extended timeline. Debt rarely shrinks when paired with anxiety. It evolves. Who benefits from this? Not him. Not her. The institutions collecting interest do not argue at dinner tables. They do not lose sleep over repayments. The system is indifferent. It provides access. And charges for it. He wasn't foolish. He was human. He wanted to feel worthy. And somewhere deep inside, he had absorbed a quiet belief. That love must be proven financially, that generosity equals value, that a smaller ring would mean smaller devotion. No one had said this explicitly, which made it harder to challenge. Years later, the ring was no longer new. The wedding photos were archived. But the payments lingered in other forms. Retirement contributions delayed. Opportunities declined because risk felt impossible. Investments postponed. The true cost of that Valentine's gift was not the interest paid. It was the growth that never had time to begin. Compound interest works in two directions. When it grows for you, it feels like momentum. When it grows against you, it feels like gravity. And gravity is subtle. Until you try to move. There is an unspoken truth about financial milestones. They are rarely about money. They are about identity. About signaling stability. About calming insecurity. But when we use borrowed money to stabilize emotion, we trade long-term security for short-term reassurance. The reassurance fades. The obligation remains. And the future adjusts accordingly. He never blamed her. She never demanded excess. The system did not force his hand. But the culture shaped the expectation. And expectation shaped the decision. If you ask him today what changed everything, he wouldn't mention the restaurant. Or the applause. Or even the loan. He would say it was the quiet assumption that love needed to look expensive. That assumption set a trajectory. Not catastrophic. But limiting. Financial futures are rarely destroyed in a single dramatic collapse. They are narrowed by small commitments made for emotional reasons. And sometimes, the most expensive thing we ever buy is proof. Proof that we are enough. Proof that we can provide. Proof that we measure up. The ring still exists. So does the memory. But so does the timeline that shifted the moment he signed his name. And that is the part no one photographs, no one applauds, no one posts. Because the true cost of that Valentine's gift was never visible. It was simply deferred. And in finance, what is deferred is rarely forgotten. It waits. Quietly. Like interest. If this story made you reflect on your own financial decisions, and if you believe money is more psychological than mathematical, subscribe to Unspoken Finance. Because sometimes, the most important money lessons are the ones no one talks about. And I'd like to know, what is the most expensive emotional decision you've ever made?